Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals and I am back with another op shop haul or thrifting haul, and I got quite a few books this time. Super excited to find these flower fairy books. I'm trying to collect them. I've only got one so far, so now I have three, but it's sort of a dream of mine to make some flower fairy journals in a collection. So yeah, this was a wonderful find. I'm always looking for these whenever I go op shopping or thrifting. So op shopping is just what we call thrift shops in Australia, basically second-hand shops. And oh, the Willow Fairy, that one obviously is very sentimental to me. After Willowbound Journals, I named it after the willow, the weeping willow in our front yard when I was a kid, from my childhood home. So yeah, I'm super excited. These are going to make such beautiful pages in my fairy journals of the future. I've been saying for years now that I've wanted to make a fairy journal collection using these particular illustrations from Cicely Mary Barker. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. This one I love because it's alphabetical, so A, B, C, D, and so on, which is really cool. Love that. So excited to add to the collection. Yay. I think there's so many books. There's ones for all of the seasons, and there's bigger ones. There's a treasury of flower fairies, and yeah, but these little ones are so adorable because you don't have to cut them down to fit into a journal. They're perfect. I also got some other fairy books, and these ones are the Shirley Barber fairy books. I've made many fairy journals out of these books in the past over the years, but I still always look out for these books because they've just got such gorgeous illustrations that I can use for covers, pages, and fairy journals. Yeah, just look at that one. Oh my goodness, stunning. They're just such a beautiful theme. You know, I'm calling myself a princess. I'm a fairy princess. I loved all that, fairies and princesses with the gowns and the wands and the wings and the crowns and the tiaras. Loved it all. So this just lets my inner princess come out with these beautifully illustrated books. So very excited for that. Always fun to make some more fairy journals. But yeah, speaking of princesses, I collected a whole bunch of Disney princess journal or books to make journals out of. Again, this is another theme that I continually make because I grew up watching the Disney princess movies and reading the books, and I just love everything about princesses. And my friend said that she was talking to me about how she thought that I was like a real life princess and that I was doing real princess work, and the princess that she thought of when she thought of me was Snow White. So I really got inspired to dig into this story. So I'm watching the movies of Snow White. I got this from the op shop and read it one night before bed, and I want to do some journaling around this. And yeah, I really feel like God's been speaking to me about Snow White, and he's through different people and different things. He keeps bringing up Snow White all the time, and finally, you know, I've just like been paying attention, like, okay, God, what are you trying to say? So I thought I'll watch the movies, I'll read the books and see what is he wanting to tell me through the story of Snow White, because actually he's got a sense of humor, right? Out of all the Disney princesses, Snow White was my least favorite princess, so I never really paid attention to her. I was always into Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Ariel, Jasmine, those princesses. So I'm kind of excited to go on this Snow White adventure, and I thought I would use these pages for my Creative Soul journal, and maybe even do an altered book Snow White journal and just see what happens. So I picked up a bunch of Snow White books, and then I got a Cinderella book, of course, just classic. just absolutely classic. There's always, when I go op shopping, Disney princess books, Beauty and the Beast and Moana, Frozen, all of them, Brave, but I just like making the journals out of the ones that I like. So that's usually Cinderella most of the time. So even though there were Beauty and the Beast books there and other, books for the other princesses, Cinderella is the one that I think I resonate the most with, actually. Now that I've been thinking about it, like I say that Jasmine's my favorite Disney princess, and my second favorite has always been Ariel. But now when I look back, it's probably Cinderella at the end of the day, because she's just the classic one. That's the one that I grew up with, and that beautiful dress, the glittering dress, and the fairy godmother, and I don't know, just the story. I think Cinderella is the one that is speaking to me the most at the moment. So I feel like I need to revisit Cinderella now, because as much as I love Cinderella, I sort of, focus more on Jasmine and Ariel most of my life. But yeah, just going back to the classic princess and being very inspired. I just want to live a princess life, dress like a princess, and share princess goodness. Then I got a couple of Alice in Wonderland books, because again, this is another theme that I absolutely love. When I was a kid, I used to watch the Alice in Wonderland movie on repeat, and I just loved the whimsy of it, the creativity of it, the imagination of it. And I've actually got quite a few Alice in Wonderland like novels, like the vintage books with the illustrations. So I love pairing those with the color illustrations and making Alice in Wonderland journals that way. So I'll probably make a little Alice in Wonderland collection again to use up all those other Alice in Wonderland books I have, because I just have them. I can't do anything with them until I have something decorative to make the covers. So I think these will mostly be for covers, so I can use all of those other pages. One more book, and then we'll get into something fun at the back here. The cover, not great. I might see if I can try cleaning it up, but I might not be able to salvage that. And perhaps not this page either, but every other page is pretty much all good to use. And I've also got quite a lot of faith books for pages, but nothing really to make covers. So I got this in particular to make covers out of, so I can make my faith books and, use the books that I already have. So that is this one. I think that is going to be such a great front cover right here. I always pick up these books as well, the prayer book and the God one of the little golden book journals, and the hymns one. Okay, this one I'm really excited. I say the best to last because I've never seen this before. And it's iron-on transfers, but I'm not going to use it like that. I'm going to use these as interesting pages to go in a journal. I just think the texture is cool, the color is cool, the designs are cool. These are going to be great to go in any journal, but especially like vintage journals. And also I was thinking in particular for my family heirloom journals, where I make concept journals. I sometimes call them found journals as well, where the idea is I've created a family in my mind where each family member has their own passions, and one of the family members loves embroidery and sewing and that kind of thing. So this might represent that family member through these pages. I tell the story through the papers and ephemera that I include in the book, in the journal. And so this, I just feel like will work really well for my concept family found journals. Family found heirloom journals. I'm still trying to work out what to call them, and because I feel like every time I talk about them, I think this is a double, so I've got two of that version. People are like, what's a found journal? What's a concept journal? How do you put a story into it? So I'm hoping the more I just talk about it, eventually I'll stop needing to explain it every single time, and you'll just know what I mean when I say a family found concept journal where I put a story into it. This one's really cute with the dogs. How adorable. So cute. And then finally this one. I liked this one because it has more of like the alphabet which is so awesome. Look at this. Very, very interesting pages. Never seen anything like this before. So I was very excited to pick this up and wanted to film it straight away because I see the shadows are coming over my desk, but I couldn't wait. I wanted to show you. So yeah, look at that. What a wonderful find. Lots of books, so I can now start making journals again. That's the thing. I go op shopping and then I use the journals. I use what I find, the books that I find, to make journals, to make covers and pages. And then I use them all up. And so that gives me license to then go ahead and get more books that I can use for my journal making. So princesses and fairies, embroidery, love it. Let me know if you had a favorite item here that you liked, or what kind of books do you look for when you go thrifting. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. A big special thank you to my beautiful patrons supporting me in the month of August. I could not do this without you. I just thank you so much for believing in me, and I hope you love being a patron. If you would like to become one, you can find the link below down in the description box to my Patreon, and that is where you get access to all my extra videos, including the making journals series videos. Plus, if you're a Ruby patron or higher, you get access to every single one of my digital kits, which are available to be downloaded on my Patreon. And then going up the tiers, there are different perks, including mail sent to you. So have fun. Feel free to check all of that out.